What up, guys? This is going to be my last video, not ever or anything, but just talking about the AL Central. I've covered every other division. Yeah, AL Central has been, I thought coming into it, to the season, I thought they were probably the weakest division. I had a little bit more expectations for the AL East and the AL West. AL West has been pretty disappointing. NL West is one of the better divisions. NL Central has surprised, and then NL East has been really good too. But yeah, I would have ranked AL Central as the weakest division, and they still haven't been good. They've probably been better than a couple other divisions, but they're still not good by any means. Guardians are leading it. As expected, they always kind of outperform the projections. Even with, Jose Ramirez has been good. Maybe not to his standards, but he's still been a really good player. DeLauder has been solid. He got off to a great start, but he's kind of cooled off. He went like a month, or at least like close to 30 games without a home run. But he's been a solid bat. Bazana's come up and made an impact for him. And then Steven Kwan has been really disappointing, been his worst version of himself. But they're still leading the division. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's their division to lose, but it kind of is. The Royals have been really disappointing. Pasquantino got off to a super slow start. Let me go back to Guardians. Their pitching is what really, they win close games. Even with the loss of Clase last year and Ortiz, but mostly Clase, they still have a really good bullpen. Cade Smith is one of the best relievers in the league, and they always just get guys in there that are really solid. Gavin Williams is leading the AL in strikeouts. He's been really solid. Parker Messick has been really good. Tanner Bybee, I think it was his first, he was 0-7. I think it was through 11 starts. But he got pretty unlucky. He just got his first win. I think he's been kind of unlucky, but they have good pitching. And they don't ever really spend. I just kind of want them to make a move and, really go all in on Jose Ramirez's timeline. He's been one of the best Guardians/Indians of all time. He's top 3 in almost every category. I think he just passed in games played. I think a player like that doesn't come around that often. But also, when that player is in their prime, you really just got to go all in and push all the chips forward. So I'm hoping they do that. I think they will buy. Probably going to be a soft buy. But, yeah, I really wish they would go all in. They have a pretty solid farm system, too. Royals, like I said, Pasquantino got off to a slow start. Caglione, so. Bobby Witt, he's rocking a 125 OPS plus, which is really good. And he's leading the league in F4, maybe B-War too, just because he's so good defensively at shortstop. I think this would be a year where he could go still get an MVP. It's going to be tough. If Aaron Judge is, rocking a 200 WRC plus or OPS plus, it's going to be hard not to give it to him every year. But him missing a considerable amount of time this year, I think it's going to be up for someone else. And with how high his floor is, Bobby Witt, I think if he can have a really good offensive season, and probably get a 10-WAR season, I think it's hard not to give him MVP. But their pitching hasn't been as good as it has been in the past. And they could find themselves in a situation where they're out of the wild card spot at the deadline, and they could make some moves on some guys, like some of their older pitchers, or like Lugo or Chris Bubich, who is in the last year of his team control, or a guy like Matt Strahm, who only has one. So they can be an interesting team. Similar to, obviously, Bobby Witt is younger than Jose Ramirez, but similar conversation where you get, to his value, he's on a relatively friendly contract. Like, he's going to start, I think he's making like 15 or something this year, but it goes up to like 25, up to like 30 towards the end of it. But for a top 3 to 5 player, I think that's not really an argument. Best defensive player, like him and PCA are right there. That's a steal of a contract, and you just gotta feel like you gotta just push the chips forward and go. I mean, maybe not every year, but I just feel like you gotta be super aggressive mindset when you have a guy like that. Because I mean, if you don't, I'm not saying he would, but there's players that, you know, get frustrated after a couple years and they want out because they want to win. I mean, when you're that good, I mean, everybody just wants to win, and it can be frustrating if your front office isn't on the same page. White Sox have been one of the better stories, specifically Morikawa. He gets a lot of the headlines. I think he was a really good value signing. I don't think they should be looking to trade him. I think just the amount of tickets they can sell with him there, and I know he's only on a 2-year deal, but I think you got to be looking to extend him as soon as you can. But I assume his agent is going to be smart and probably at least, not saying he won't sign back with the White Sox, but I think he's going to want to get to free agency and see what deals he can get. But Colson Montgomery has been one of the best shortstops since coming up. Kyle Till, I don't even think he's debuted yet, and he's one of their better young players. Sam Antonacci came up, and he's a fun baseball player to watch, just a baseball player. Play infield, outfield, plays hard, takes a good at bat, good contact hitter. Chase Mydroth, I really like him, plays good defense, kind of similar. Miguel Vargas, I think, has been probably one of their best overall hitters. And he's kind of breaking out to what, he had a lot of prospect hype, and he's kind of finally coming into his own. But, I mean, they need more pitching. I think that's clear. But Noah Schultz has come in, and he's been good. You got more young arms in that system. But I think with how bad the AL is and how bad the AL Central is, they might – I don't know if they have any – a guy like Sean Newcomb or I can't remember what's that reliever's name that they signed? Sir Anthony Dominguez. Like, guys like that, you could – like, I don't think they should sell any big pieces like Murakami but guys like an Austin Hayes or, some of the relievers that aren't likely going to be on your team in a couple years, you could do like a soft sell and kind of reset to maybe get back in a competitive window here in the next couple years. And the AL Central is really open. And the Guardians are always going to be a competent organization and competent team, but that doesn't mean that you can't look to win the AL Central. I struggle remembering who's in the division. Oh, the Twins, and then the Tigers. The Tigers have been probably the most disappointing team, one of the most disappointing teams. I mean, Skubal is him going down kind of directly correlates when they started really struggling, although he only pitches every 5th game. But just being that leader in the locker room, their offense has been not good. A lot of injuries to their pitching staff, not just Skubal. Yeah, it's tough. I think they have to sell. I mean, you're already kind of accepted that at this point that you're not going to get Skubal back on a long-term deal. And I think, I know a lot of people don't want to see him go to the Dodgers, but I think a team like the Dodgers, who are looking to make history and be the first team to three-peat in the last 25 years, would pay a high price, and they have a great farm system. And the Tigers, I know McGonagall has graduated now, but they had 2 top 10 prospects coming in to the season, and they have a decent farm system, but you're just not. I think they were like 15 games under 500. Yes, here recently. Like, that's not even close. Like, it's not even close to being a competitive team. I think you got to sell big, and I think you need to make it clear, not just like wait till like the week of the deadline or anything. I think you need to make it clear that you're selling pretty early on so you can field a lot of offers for your guys. And then the last team is the Twins. They've been a little bit better than expected. I think they're in a very interesting spot. They're trying to retool. They don't want to commit to a full rebuild. They have some ownership things that they're going through right now. But you got two of the better players in the league, in Joe Ryan and Byron Buxton. You could get a haul for both of them. You got a lot of young outfielders in your farm system that, I mean, I don't want to say you can just replace Buxton. That's not what I'm saying. But like your farm system is loaded with outfielders that you like. Man, I just think you'd have to be, for specifically Joe Ryan, because he only has a year and a half of control. I think you got to be open to moving him. Buxton, I think he has a no trade clause, and he's stated that he wants to be a Twin for life. So maybe you look to extend him and give him a couple more years. I think he has 2 more years after this. But you're not a competitive team right now, and in one of the most non-competitive divisions, so that's disappointing to say the least. You need more pitching. They DFA'd Simeon Woods Richardson in his first start with the Blue Jays after picking him up was pretty good. But you need a lot more, and you got 2 of the bigger trade chips in the league. And obviously I know, like, in theory, it sounds really good to trade a big leaguer with limited control and get 3 or 4 prospects that you think are going to be good, and that is the right method, but a lot of those times those guys don't work out. So then you can end up with, but it just doesn't make sense to let them go for nothing when you're not competitive anyway. Like, I understand wanting to go for it and then like not trading them, like, but if you're just not in the race, and then also you know they're going to walk in free agency, not necessarily Buxton, but Joe Ryan, like a guy like Joe Ryan has to be traded. Maybe not at this deadline, but you get more value for him at this deadline than you would in the offseason. So I think you should definitely look to move him. Different guys like a Trevor Larnach, Ryan Jeffers are most likely going to be moved. I think they're in the last year of their control. I know Jeffers is. I think Larnach maybe has 1 more year of control. But I feel like you got to shop guys around. You got a solid amount of prospects that, you know, people like. I mean, Kalen Culpepper, Walker Jenkins, Mick Abel's up. But, I mean, you got some young players that people like. Second baseman, Luke Keeschel. Like, you got young players. Royce Lewis, I think the experiment might be kind of over. Experiment is harsh, but, like, former first overall pick. He got sent down, and then it's just tough. Like, they're in a tough spot. But it's weird, like, almost a whole division I'm saying that should sell. Except for the Guardians. But, like, 4 out of the 5 teams should most likely sell. Because I don't think there's going to be a wild card team out of this division. Especially since there's going to be almost a guaranteed 2 in the AL East. And I could still see the I think there's going to for sure be 2 in the AL East, likely 3, because I think the Blue Jays are going to get back in it. And AL West, I think I favor the Rangers over anyone besides the Guardians in Central. So, and that's your 6. So I just think the only real competent team is the Guardians right now. The Royals, just their offense, man. You look at their offensive stats, it's just not good. It's just not good. And their pitching hasn't been as good as you'd want it to be. So I think everyone in this division besides the Guardians needs to sell. Thanks, guys, for watching. Y'all have a great day.